This is part two of the first video. Sorry, I know it's gonna be a little bit long, but trust me, it'll be worth your time. So in that situation, I understood the guy. His situation was pretty crazy. And then I spoke with a lot of people my age. I was able to catch up with a lot of friends that I knew growing up, and some moved out of town, and I was in the town, and we met up, and just to see them to see them thriving, it was pretty awesome to see how they were doing life, and some of them in ministry, some of them in business, whatever it may be. It was really nice and fun to catch up with them. But here's the thing, that a lot of them were a little bit frustrated because they're like, well, I have a family and I don't know how to succeed, or I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to get out our current situation. We need to create more income. Typical problems that we've seen. So a lot of the conversations are like, you know what? We're like, I'm too far in life to be, at this scenario. I feel like I should be more caught up. I should be more like doing this, doing that, having this, having done that. And I kind of don't have anything to show for my life. And when I started paying attention to all of these conversations, and I was sitting at home, and I'm like, oh, I was remembering that I met this friend in Phoenix. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember the conversation that came up. And then I met another friend, and then this colleague that I met early August. And I was all like, why am I hearing so much about age? What is the deal here? And for me, I've always been taught, if you hear or if you see something repeat itself, is because there's something you're not paying attention to. There's something that, for me, in my faith, is God is trying to tell you something, but you're not catching on. So I was like, Lord, I'm like, God, I don't feel bad about my age. I don't feel bad about what I've accomplished up to this moment. I do have a lot of goals. I do have a lot of things that I wish I could do, or that I would like to do, but what's up with these conversations, And as I started thinking, I was all like, well, I know I have goals, and I know that life is, I'm getting into life, like, for those of you that don't know, I'm about to be 40. So I feel like God has been really good to me, and I've accomplished a lot of things, but at the same time, kind of sitting there and thinking about all of these other scenarios, it's kind of like, have I really lived my life to the fullest? Have I really given myself the opportunity to try new things? Have I really made sure that there's no stone unturned in my life? I've gone through hell and back. I've gone through tough situations that maybe for some other time, some other day. And it's stuff that I thought at some point I was never going to recover. I was never going to bounce back from stuff like this. And because of a lot of things that I went through, a lot of situations, a lot of friendships, a lot of different things that I had to confront in my life, even reality checks with myself, they kind of pushed me into so many directions, and I was pulled and I was pushed, and all I know is that I'm here, and I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm thankful that I'm here. I know that my life has purpose, and I know that God is not done with me here. That's why I'm still here. There's many times that I should not be here at this point, But God's mercy has been renewed every day. I've made it to his wake up list, and I'm so thankful for that. And so back to what we're talking about is that in August, September, I was kind of jotting things down, and there was a couple of things that I was going through. And it was in that moment, like, this switch happened, or like something clicked in my head. And I'm all like, okay, so we're talking about age. We're talking about all of this stuff. But what about me? What about what I want to do? What about stuff that I've never done? What about those things that I've like had in the back of my head, but never had, like, I guess I never dared to do something like that. So I was sitting there and I started writing things down. I'm like, I've always thought about this. Like, why haven't I explored this? Why haven't I done this? At this point in time, I have the time. I have the ability to do it. And I was like, why haven't I done something like this? Why haven't I tried? Or why didn't I think of these things like sooner? Or why not? And a lot of the things was because I realized that there's a lot of things that not necessarily scared of, but I've never been a very daring person. I've always been, I love to laugh. I enjoy being around friends, good friends that love, that laugh, that just like to have a great time. And I've always shared that with people. But one of the things is that I've never been a daring person, or I don't know, maybe I don't know if that's the proper word to say, but I've I've never been like a big risk taker or adventurous person. I've always been on the more calm side. Some people would call it bougie. Some people would call it so many things, but I'm kind of like, I don't like to be bothered. I don't like to be like put in uncomfortable situations. I like my comfort. I like my peace. I like being happy. I like being chill. So there's a lot of things that I started thinking, I'm like, are these things that I've held myself back from? Or has it been opportunity? Or what has it been? And it wasn't until that moment that I'm all like, why not me? Why haven't I tried this? Why haven't I given myself the opportunity to try new things, to try new adventures, to try this and that? We're talking about people that are so concerned about their life that they haven't reached goals, that they haven't accomplished what they wish they could accomplish and stuff like that. And I'm over here, I'm like, well, I have the time and I have the ability. Why not try it, right? It's never too late to try something new. And that has been a slogan that I've been really living by in my thoughts, in my feelings, in my heart, is it's never too late to try something new. And this year I have decided to do something. And this is a crazy part. When I was writing my list, I said, what I'm going to do something different this 2025. I'm going to take the time to film or try to film. I'll do my best, my hardest. And this is kind of like me telling you, this is, keep me accountable, is I want to document my life this whole 2025, starting today. Today's January 1st. So I'm doing this out of my comfort zone here. But the point is that I want to document my life and document the things that I do. First of all, for myself, to have something to show for myself, but at the same time, take up challenges that I've never done, things that I've never tried, or things that I've never thought of, that I might like. And I've decided to take up a couple of challenges this year, and I want to try them out. You know, some people would call it, that's your midlife crisis. I mean, of course, according to science, midlife crisis does start between 40 and 50 years old for men. And surprisingly, it usually lasts about 7 to 10 years. I was like, good Lord. But I am not in a crisis. So I figured and I said, well, what if I beat it to the punch? What, instead of worrying or getting to that point where I'm worried about my future, I'm worried about what I haven't done, or I'm worried about doing something stupid and carrying these big old burdens or repercussions, why not be in control and just go out and find my midlife crisis? So I know this sounds ridiculous and I know this sounds crazy, but trust me, like I've put all of these things, all of these ideas together that I'm going to do this 2025. And there's a lot of things that I would like for you to join me on this journey. I would love for you to come with me. And to a point, find inspiration, find out and remember that it's never too late to try something new. If I can do it, you can do it. And one of the things that I started organizing and planning is obviously as a new year, the whole cliche, new year, new me, right? So everyone starts off with exercising. Everyone starts off with their physical self, but then they start fizzing out about 2-3 weeks because then they get too tired, they get too bored, or it just becomes too burdensome for them. So today, I'm starting my journey, and I'm starting off with my health journey, because in order to get to where I want to get, I really need to get my health in check. And as you see, I'm a big guy. I've always been a big guy, but that has always been an excuse, and that has always been something that I've hidden behind or kind of like laid back on.